The world of Minecraft Bedrock farms is big and I covered a lot of them in my tutorials this year. Here are the full tutorials for the 5 must-have 1.21 farms in Minecraft Bedrock edition. So this video, I show you how to build a fully AFK wood farm for Minecraft 1.21 Bedrock edition. The first thing after finding a good flat area to build this insane farm on is to place down a row out of 10 solid blocks. After you did this, you want to dig out 2 blocks in front of each and every one of these blocks that you placed, so a depth of 2 blocks and a length of 10 blocks. Then, in this hole, you want to place sticky pistons, which will again account for 10 sticky pistons. On top of them, you want to go ahead and place some sand blocks. In front of these sand blocks, you want to go ahead and place a row out of solid blocks. Then take your sticky pistons again, go to the row of blocks right here and place down sticky pistons facing to you. Then on top of the second row, you want to go ahead and place again some sand blocks. After completing the first step for this farm, get behind the farm to the first sticky piston in the row, and there you want to place some blocks in a T shape. Then you want to remove this one, so you have a V shape looking something like this. In the middle block, you want to place a redstone repeater, which is on 2 ticks, so click it once. In this position, place some redstone dust, and in this position a redstone torch. This will create a redstone clock, and you want to place a lever in this position and shut it off, and this will be the on and off switch for the entire farm. Now if some sand broke, this is fine, just replace it. As the next step, place 1 block behind every single of these sticky pistons. And then we'll grab some redstone dust and we place redstone dust on top of all of these blocks that you just placed. Then the pistons will extend and will connect to our sand blocks. As the next thing, you want to grab some solid blocks again, and then you want to place a row out of solid blocks all on top of these sticky pistons. Now in front, so on top of the sticky piston arms, you want to place a line out of sand blocks. Then place another line out of solid blocks on top of the first one, so everything looks like this and you have this staircase shape. At this point, grab some observers, some redstone torches and pistons and also some blocks, and place a redstone torch at the side of the first sticky piston in the row, so right next to the redstone clock. Then next to the blocks, you want to place 2 observers on top of each other, facing upwards, so with the redstone output to the top. Then what you want to do is to place a solid block on top of the output of the observer right here, then a line out of pistons on top of all these solid blocks, with 1 solid block at the end, and another line out of solid blocks behind all of these pistons. Then grab some redstone dust again, place redstone dust on top of this solid block and on top of all these pistons you just placed. As the next step, we will create the composting system for our farm. This will create all the bone meal that is required to grow our wood. In order to do this, what you want to do is to get to the other side that is opposite of our redstone clock, so right here, and there you want to place a dispenser in this position facing that way. It should be 1 block offset from the edge of the farm. Then in front of all these solid blocks, you want to place a line of hoppers that funnels into each other. You want to really make sure that all of them are connected and funnel into our dispenser. On top of all these hoppers, you want to go ahead and place 1 composter each. This composter will compost all the kelp and turn it into bone meal. Then take out some more hoppers and place another line of hoppers on top of our composters. Now in between the sand and the composters, you want to place a line out of solid blocks, and then our composting system is already set up. As the next step, come to this side, and there you want to place 3 blocks in these positions. Then you want to stack 3 more layers of block lines on top, and after you did this, you want to do the same thing at the other side. So first of all, place 2 blocks in these positions because we left them out earlier. And then you want to place 3 blocks, and you want to extend this wall by 3 layers, so you end up 1 block above the entire farm. Now in between these 2 walls, what you want to do is to take your stairs and you want to place a line out of stairs that point inwards and downwards as well. These stairs should be right in front of the redstone that we placed on top of the pistons. Before we can fill in our water streams, you want to place 1 sign in front of each of these stairs. Once you placed all these 10 signs, you want to come to this side, to this exact block, and place a sign in this position. Then you have to sneak in order to place more signs in front of the first sign, and again you want to take this row to the other end of our farm. And that should be looking something like this. As you can see, every single sign is placed at the side of the other one before. Now, as the last thing before we can create the water streams, you want to place a line out of glass panes on top of the hoppers. Again, this is to make sure that none of the water spills out. At this point, again, make sure that you have blocks behind and at the side of the pistons, and then you can go ahead and waterlog the pistons. You probably need to create an infinite water source first, so do this, and then you can fill in not only the pistons, but also the stairs at the top, and after you did this, also one block on top of the sand each. Once you placed your 3 water sources per cell, you can place in your kelp. You just want to place the kelp on top of all 10 sand blocks. Before we get to the wood part of the entire thing, what you want to do is to get to this side of the farm again, and there you want to place a redstone repeater at the side of this block. It should light up, and you want to click it once, so set it on 2 ticks. Then take some redstone dust, place it in these locations, break this exact block right here and also these 2, then break this exact block and you should be right at the sticky piston right here. Then you want to dig a tunnel until you are at the other side of the piston line, and once you found that there are no more pistons in the line, you want to connect every single sticky piston to our redstone system by just connecting the redstone line with our redstone clock. This should make all these sticky pistons extend, and the stand should now be at this height. Then you want to replace this exact block, and our redstone system for this part of the farm is set up. Now you can also go ahead and remove your water source again, and then we get to the bamboo part of the farm. In order to do this, what you want to do is to place a bamboo in front of our dispenser. Of course, bamboo isn't wood, but trust me, we'll turn all that bamboo into wood automatically. And now, as the next step for this part, what you want to do is to place a block in this position and then a piston on top. Then you want to go ahead and break 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks in front of the bamboo. You want to place a chest in the first spot and then 2 crafters behind. You want to make sure that both of them are facing the right way. This is very important, otherwise the farm will not work. Next, you want to make sure that you place a hopper right next to it, and the hopper should funnel into the crafter in front of it. Now take some blocks and you want to make sure that you fill in all these blocks to create a wall and a roof. What you want to do is to place some blocks in these 5 positions as well, and then you want to grab some glass blocks and place 2 of them above the first crafter. By doing this, we ensure that all of the bamboo will end up being crafted into wood. Next, you want to get to the second crafter, and there you want to log all of these 9 slots, and then I show you how to connect everything with our redstone system. In order to do this, you want to grab a redstone torch and place it right at the side of our redstone clock. Then grab some redstone dust and place it all the way to this point right here. And of course, we broke some blocks right here. You want to replace them if you haven't already done this. And then you want to place redstone dust all the way to this dispenser right here. Then grab a redstone repeater and place it in this position. You want to click it 2 times so it's set to 3 ticks, and then you can finally connect the piston with some redstone dust. You have to break this block in order to do so. And now, after connecting this piston, we also want to connect the crafters. In order to do so, you need to break this block, and then you need to break these 2 blocks, and you want to dig out a little tunnel in order to get to the crafters. The first crafter is in this position right here, so you want to get underneath this crafter. You want to place a block in this position and a redstone torch at the side of the block right underneath our first crafter. So the redstone torch should be in this exact location right here, a block behind it, and then our path. We then want to place a redstone dust in this position, so right behind the block with redstone torch, another block, then a redstone repeater leading into that block, and then you want to just connect everything with redstone dust. Now you can go ahead and you want to leave out these 2 blocks and then place blocks in all these locations so that you don't drop into the redstone system, but this is rather optional. At this point, I'm glad to tell you we are finished with building this massive but very efficient farm, and in order to start it, the only thing you have to do is to flick this lever at the back side. This will start the entire construction, which will produce a high amount of kelp, which will then get turned into bone meal, and the bone meal will power this machine in order to generate tons of bamboo, and all the bamboo will automatically get crafted into these bamboo planks, which is perfect wood. Here's how to build the best max rates iron farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. First of all, you want to find an area without any beds, working stations or villagers. The first thing you want to do is to dig out a square hole. It should have the size 11 by 11 and it should be only 1 block deep. As the next step, you want to take some glass blocks and you want to place a rim all around the entire square hole that is out of your glass blocks. Once you did that, grab some solid blocks and you want to go to the exact middle block, which is this one, and you want to stack up 3 solid blocks. Now to each side you should have 5 empty blocks. This is to make sure that you really are in the middle. Now you want to break the 2 bottom blocks and then you want to extend out by 5 blocks into each direction. So do this at this side, do this at the third side, and you also want to do this at the fourth side as well. Once you did that, what you want to do is to place some more blocks so you create a solid platform out of solid blocks, and this again should have the size 11 by 11. Next, you want to go to the middle again, and there you want to remove the middle block right there. Again, make sure that you have 5 empty blocks to each side to make sure that this really is the middle block that you broke. Next, you want to take 30 beds and you want to place them around the hole. You start by placing 4 in this shape, and then you just want to go all around the first circle with a second circle out of beds, and you want to do this as long as you have beds left. Now in the end, your pattern should be looking something like this, and once you did that, the next thing to do is to go inside of the hole, and then you want to grab your workstations and you want to go to one side and remove every other block and replace it with a workstation. This will account for 5 workstations, and you want to do this on all 4 sides of the entire thing. So in the end you will have placed 20 workstations, but you still have 10 left. And now let me place the last ones. So now we have 10 workstations left to place, and you want to place these workstations in the floor. You can really place them wherever you want to, you just want to make sure that they're about equally spaced, so every villager will have enough space to work on their workstations later. Now you want to remove one of the glass blocks and replace it with a solid block, and then break the block above, and then you want to place 2 ladders, and on top you want to place a trapdoor. This way you can easily access this spot down here, and if you want, trade with the villagers later. Now as you can see in my scenario, I have a village nearby, and you too want to travel to your next village or other source of villagers, and there you want to collect at least 2 villagers. You can do this by putting them in a boat and then use a lead to pull them all the way to your farm. Now they should automatically get connected to the workstations and the beds, and if they're stuck outside you can again put them into boats, remove some of the blocks that are part of the roof, and then drive them into this section yourself. Of course, don't forget to replace all the blocks you removed, and as the next step you want to just light up this space by placing at least 2 torches. And then you want to throw the villagers some bread or carrots or any other stuff that they can eat. As you can see, they will sooner or later start breeding, and they will do this as long as there aren't 30 villagers in our farm. Once they're done, what you want to do is to remove every villager that has a green coat, and then you want to wait until they're replaced, and you want to also wait until all the children are grown up. In the end, you want to have 30 working villagers in your farm. Once you have them, you can go out of the entire thing again, and then you want to take some solid blocks, you want to leave open the middle block and place blocks all around. So now what you want to do is to extend this circle by 7 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into this direction. Do the same thing to the other side. 5, 6, 7. Then 7 more on this side. And 7 more on the 4th side. Once you did that, what you want to do is to turn the rest into a solid platform, but of course leave open the middle block again. And now once you have your 17 by 17 blocks solid platform, you want to go 1 block outwards and 1 block to the top and remove the first block. And then you want to place 3 more blocks, and now we want to create a rim all around the entire platform that has the size 4 blocks. This means on all 4 sides it should be 4 blocks thick. Next, you want to go 1 block out again and again 1 block to the top, remove the first one and create another rim, but this time only 1 block thick all around the entire platform that you already created. Once you set up this entire platform, you can start putting in all the water streams. I recommend having a nearby infinite water source looking like this in order to place in all the water, or maybe an ocean or something like this, so that you have infinite water. And in order to place down our water streams, you want to go to each corner and place these 3 blocks with these 4 blocks around. So you want to do this on all 4 corners. By having blocks in these positions, what you can do is to place water on top of all of these, and then you can place water in all these locations. By having these blocks placed down, we ensure that we don't create infinite water sources and we don't waterlog the entire platform, but instead have real water streams that push all our iron golems into the middle of the farm. And now you want to do this on all 4 sides again, and after doing this you can remove the 3 holder blocks again. Now that we got the water streams, we can add our killing mechanism to the farm, and this is very easy and straightforward. You just want to place a sign in the middle hole. Then you want to place 1 more sign on top and another sign on top. And now outgoing from this sign, you want to place 4 signs, 1 on each of every of the sides. And then you just want to place another sign on top of all of these 4 sides. In the end, your setup should be looking something like this. And this way we have a spot for our lava to be placed in, but prohibiting the lava from flowing out and destroying our water streams. And next you want to enter your villager's spot again, and then what you want to do is to come to the middle where you should still have the empty block, and then you want to place a hopper to one side, and to that side you want to place a double chest. This will be our entire storage system. All our items will be in this chest later. Now the next thing and last thing you have to do before you can start using the farm is to remove all of the iron golems that already spawned around the farm. In survival, use a source of lava because then the iron golem will not get triggered on you. Now the farm will already be working, but I recommend placing some torches all underneath your platform to prevent zombies and other hostile mobs from spawning. But apart from that, your farm is now usable and all the iron golems will already get killed automatically, and if you want to collect the loot, then you can simply do this by going to your villager's spot and then just enter the chest, and we already have 8 iron ingots in this chest. This farm will be working automatically as long as you are in a 64 block radius to the farm, but if you want to, you can set up an AFK spot nearby, or you can just stand inside of your villager spot, maybe trade with the villagers, and the iron will come in automatically. This insane Minecraft Bedrock XP farm provides infinite XP and is fully AFK. The first thing to do is to break a block in the floor and replace it with a stone brick. However you place it, the side with the line in the middle will always be the south side. At that side, you want to break another block and replace it with some sand. Now you can go ahead and break the stone brick again. Next thing you want to do is to take some holder blocks like dirt and surround the hole with 1 layer of blocks, and also on 2 opposite sides you want to add 1 block. Now wait until it's night and lure a zombie to your farm. You want to jump between these 2 blocks, and as you can see, the zombie will drop right into the hole. Once the zombie stops bouncing around, you want to give him a name tag so it doesn't despawn, and you want to place a solid block above its head. Now I recommend waiting until it's noon again, but this depends on you. Next thing to do is to break all the holder blocks that we placed, and also go ahead and remove the trapdoor right here. Then next to the block, right above the sand, you want to place a composter. Then you want to take some more holder blocks, place a staircase like this, and also you want to place some blocks all around the composter. As the next step, we now want to get some armadillos into our composter. Armadillos will spawn in savanna and badlands biomes and can be lured with spider eyes. I recommend having 4 of them in your farm later, but the actual amount depends on you. If you take more, you will get more experience per minute. As soon as these guys are in range of the zombie, they will start culling in out of fear, so I recommend having a rail track all the way up to the composter, and you want to place a minecart like this, and then you can simply push the armadillos into the minecart and the minecart all the way up to the composter, and then you just have to remove the minecart and they will drop right into our composter. As mentioned, you can do this with as many armadillos as you want. I will have 4 of them in my farm. Now let me tell you that armadillos are passive mobs, and in contrast to the zombie, you don't need to give them name tags. So as the next thing, you just have to remove all the holder blocks again and also the minecart track that you probably created. Then you want to take a block of leaves and place it on top of the solid block right here. On both sides, you want to go ahead and place 2 glass blocks like this, and then go to the back side and place a trapdoor and flick it. Now what you want to do is to place a holder block right in front and a fence next to it. It should be aligned with the leaves. Then remove the holder block and place some water inside of the leaf. Then go ahead and place a solid block on top of the block of leaves and 1 more in front. At this side, we go ahead and place 2 more glass blocks and a solid block. On top of the solid block, place a lever and behind it a redstone comparator, which you want to click once so the redstone torch right here lights up. Then you want to place 3 redstone dust around and also 1 on top of this solid block. Because now we want to turn around and you want to place a trapdoor on top of the fence. When you test the system, this should create a redstone clock and the trapdoor should open this way. I can shut this off for now, and you also want to place 1 more trapdoor in this position and flick it. This is just temporal because we now want to go ahead and throw some tridents at the side of this trapdoor. The amount of tridents depends on the amount of armadillos. I will have 4 armadillos, which means 3 tridents. Per extra armadillo you will need 1 extra trident. So for example, for 6 armadillos I recommend having 5 tridents. Then remove the trapdoor and test the system. This should happen, so the tridents should not drop down. You can shut this off for now again. And now the next step will be to create a system that makes this whole farm entirely AFK. In order to do this, you want to grab a dispenser and place it in this exact location. It is very important that you have it in this position right next to the composter, and it should face the composter as well. Behind the dispenser, so in this position, you want to place a block, then 1 more in front and 2 more at the back side. Then grab 2 regular pistons and place them in these 2 positions right at the end of our block line. Then take a block of redstone and place it in this location. Also place 2 more blocks in these 2 locations with redstone dust on top. As the next step, you want to take a lever, place it in this location, and you want to flick it. This will make sure that everything will be set up correctly later. And next, you want to place a holder block in this position and a hopper right here. The hopper should point towards the holder block, and you want to remove the holder block and replace it with another hopper. Both hoppers should funnel inside of each other like this. Then take some more solid blocks, place them in these 2 locations, and also right here and right there. And then what you want to do is to take some comparators and place the comparators in the 2 remaining positions. Everything should be set up like this at this point. Next up, you want to take exactly 3.5 stack of stackable items, in this case I will use dirt, and you want to put them inside of this hopper right here. This hopper should be right next to the redstone block. Next, activate your brewing skills, put 3 water bottles and some blaze powder as fuel into the brewing stand, and then first of all a nether wart to create awkward potions. On top of that, you want to add some stone. This will result in potions of infestation. Lastly, add 1 gunpowder to create splash potions. Now once you did this several times, you have more than enough of splash potions of infestation, and you want to put all of these splash potions of infestation inside of your dispenser. And as you can see, I have more than 9 of these splash potions, and if you want to run this farm for more than half an hour, you can simply add a hopper and a chest in front of our dispenser and put all these splash potions of infestation inside of the chest and this will automatically refill the dispenser whenever needed. And now guys, the very last thing to do is to place one cactus on top of this sand. If you made everything correctly, the armadillos won't die because they're curled up and regenerate faster than they hurt. But now let's take this one for a spin. If you want to start this farm in survival, you just have to flick this lever right here, which will activate the automatic trident killer. Next up, activate this redstone clock right here, which will start throwing potions at the armadillos and will create all the silverfish that drop the experience. If you stand right in front of the farm, you will automatically collect all the experience, and with a block above your head you can also prohibit phantoms from spawning. As you can see, this farm is ultra insane. I already am at level 36. And now a splash potion of infestation will only last for 3 minutes. So every 3 minutes this clock will make the dispenser dispense 1 extra potion of infestation, as you saw right there. With 1 potion I already got to level 64. So insane is a good word to describe this. If you want to stop the farm, you just have to flick this lever right here, then this lever in this position, and also remove the cactus. This right here literally is the best gunpowder farm in all of Minecraft Bedrock, providing tons of gunpowder and also the occasional ghast tier. It's super easy to build and much cheaper than a creeper farm, so build it right now. If you want to get the highest rates, I recommend building this farm in the Sand Valley biome of the Nether, which is characterized with all the sand and soil. The highest rates will also be above a lava lake, because then less other ghasts are interfering with our rates. The first step will be to get to y equals 119. You can do this with blocks and ladders, or as I will do it with scaffoldings. So once you are at the roof of the Sand Valley, you want to dig upwards and you want to place scaffoldings continuously all the way to Y119. By the way, if you want to turn on your coordinates, you can do this in the settings in the game section, and there you find the option to show coordinates. Now the next thing will be to dig out 50 blocks into one direction. 49 and 50. Once you did this, you want to turn around to one side, and there you want to dig another 50 blocks into one direction. 49 and 50. Now you dug 2 sides of the square, and what you want to do is to destroy all the blocks that are in between, so you have a perfect square. Now I dug out my 50 times 50 square. As you can see, I get some ancient debris right here, which is pretty nice. But as the next step, you want to grab some blocks and close up all the lava sources that you have in the area. And once you got a clear lava-free room, you want to clear out 2 more layers of the roof, so you have a 50 by 50 by 4 room. Now you'll probably notice that mobs like skeletons will spawn in this room, and in order to prevent all mobs but the ghast from spawning, you want to grab a bunch of torches and just spam this in the room. You want to light up every single block in the room so that no other mobs but ghast can spawn. If you don't want to get in any trouble, you can also go into the settings and turn on the peaceful difficulty. That way you aren't annoyed while you build the last step of this farm. Because we want to make sure that we aren't hurt by the ghast, but we can still hit and kill them, and we can do this by just placing a layer of glass or leaves at this height. In the end, you should have an entire layer out of glass or leaves. There should be 1 empty above and 2 blocks empty underneath. And now our farm is already set up. In order to use it, I recommend taking a looting 3 sword for the maximum rates, and of course you have to change your difficulty back to hard mode. And as you can see, they will already start spawning, and that pretty frequently. You just have to run to them, kill them with your looting 3 sword, and it will give you some gunpowder. As you can see, there are already some more spawning. Just kill them and do this over and over again, which will give you pretty high rates for a gunpowder farm. Let me tell you that this farm will give you more gunpowder than a creeper farm would, but it also isn't AFK. And lastly, the classic semi-AFK fish farm. In order to build this very easy AFK fish farm, the first thing you want to do is to remove 3 blocks in the floor. And then you want to make this hole 3 blocks deeper, so 1, 2 and 3. And you want to go ahead and place a double chest at one side of that hole. And then you want to grab a hopper and you want to place it in the remaining spot of the hole. Make sure it funnels directly into the large chest. Next, you want to grab some ladders and place 2 of them at these 2 positions above the double chest. Then you want to go up the ladders and you want to place a trapdoor right above the ladders. Then you want to go ahead and place a temporal block on top of your hopper with a rail and a minecart with hopper on top. Then you want to go ahead and just break the block so the minecart with hopper drops down. Now at the exact same block where you got the minecart with hopper, you want to take a sign and you want to place a sign in that position. Now you also want to place 2 solid blocks in these 2 positions, and this will allow us to place some lava in this location right here, 1 block underneath the surface, and the lava should not flow into our system. But as the next step, you want to place a chest right behind the lava in this exact position. You want to place trapdoors all the way around the chest, which should account for 5 trapdoors. So you want to place them in these 5 locations. And after doing this, you want to flick all of them. After you did this, grab a white banner or any other kind of banner that you want and place it in front of the chest so it drops down all the way to the lava. Lastly, grab your 2 water buckets and place them in this position and waterlock the chest, and also place a solid block on top of the chest with a slab at the side. This slab will prohibit us from falling into the lava. In order to perfectly use the farm, I recommend having a fishing rod with luck of the sea 3 and lure 3. This will give you the most experience and the best loot at once. In order to use it, you want to stand right next to your slab and you want to click on the banner. Whenever you caught a fish, the fishing rod will automatically retract and will get the loot for you every time. So the farm is not fully AFK, but you will never lose any items because you got the perfect timing. All the experience will get to you automatically and all the loot will be in the double chest below. At this point, if this video helped you, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. This will help us both and you won't miss further content. And then I hope we'll see us again in the next video. See ya!